I'm Allisyn from BrainPOP. This is Jessica Millstone from the Cooney Center. And we thought we would start by playing a game together, so. Sorry. How many teachers are in here? Awesome.
Great, lots.
So Karina, my colleague, 2 sessions ago, mentioned Game Up, which is a free collection off of the BrainPOP homepage. This is
not on the screen.
Oh, Can we switch over?
The browser on the screen.
Maybe turn to the person next to you and tell one game that you're really excited about right now.
As you can tell, Allisyn's also a teacher.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure. You might have, you're
okay. Okay, turn back. Okay, so we've got this free collection of what we feel are the big Gs, the top quality digital games that are that tie right into your curriculum. They're aligned to academic standards, Common Core and state standards. And we kind of are trying to provide the whole package. So for each game that we have, you'll see lesson ideas, related topics that BrainPOP provides to build background knowledge. And has anyone seen Employee Lounge or played Employee Lounge? Okay, you can't answer this part though. So let's play. So these games start with a graphic novel style introduction. And by the way, this is by ThinkPort. We have partners at MIT Education Arcade that created these, and we have a series of 3 of these games. So this is one of the Lord of the Labyrinth games. So you can see there's no directions. Do you want to actually navigate? This is easier. Okay, so what should we do? Just yell out some answers. What should we try here? And
pick a number.
27. Click on 27. So this is how I might use this in my classroom to start introducing my kids to topics like adding and subtracting, scientific method, multiplication. I may project the game to my kids, start it as a whole class trying to just click around and figure out what to do. So what should we try next? Drag the green eye.
Okay. To a number? Okay, to one of these, okay.
What next? Something happened, so what do we try next?
Which color?
Blue.
Pink. So 15.
We got an answer. What now?
Green, blue.
What next? Green, green, green.
Sorry?
I guess we don't have sound, but there's some good sound effects here too. Okay, so we figured out green, green, green equals 12. So turn to the person next to you. What did you just figure out? Okay, green equals 4. So we'll stop here, but the game continues. It gets a little more sophisticated as you go. It gives you different challenges, again, without any explicit directions. I think there's a lot of opportunity to work with your students around this game and not in the game. What I might do from here, after introducing it to my kids for a couple of minutes, now they're like, can't wait to get their hands on the game. I'd probably send them back in partnerships to play the game. As I wandered around the room, I'd be observing and seeing who's stuck on different concepts. I might have them pause the game. I might bring them back together and teach a mini lesson on division or multiplication or something like that. Anyway, you get the idea. And Jessica's going to talk about this research study that we just finished that we're trying to give teachers a voice, teachers that are interested in getting into using online games. So.
It's just not advancing with the... No, it's not advancing. Oh, there you go. Thanks. Okay, so you saw a little bit about how one teacher might use a game, and I just want to give you a little background on the research that the Cooney Center and BrainPOP did together, which is it's so appropriate that we're here today because it was really born out of an experience about 2 years ago here at Games for Change, where we had the Games for Learning Day, and I didn't really hear from any teachers. There was maybe one presentation that talked a little bit about what teachers are doing. And so I took that and I went back and I convinced the Cooney Center, and later they convinced BrainPOP to put a little money behind figuring out what teachers are doing. So we came up with the idea of doing some case studies on teachers here in New York who are using games in the classroom. And we did a survey of 500 teachers who are identify as using games. So I want to tell you a little bit about what some of those survey findings were. One major finding was that all the teachers, well, I should say about 70% of the teachers who took the survey reported increased collaboration, motivation, and engagement, especially from their lowest performing students. They also were really doing a lot of their own professional development around games for learning, and we thought that was really exciting. We realized very quickly from the survey that comfort level drives the frequency of use of digital games in the classroom. So again, thinking about what the professional learning opportunities are for teachers, we're really advocating for increased affinity spaces, as James G. said, but also self-directed areas where teachers can go to do more of that self-directed learning. One finding that we thought was kind of interesting was that fewer than 20% of the teachers in our survey were adapting commercial games for the classroom. They were actually going out, looking at games that were clearly identified as educational and doing that. But the teachers in our case studies are really taking commercial games and bringing them into their classroom. So we're going to show you a little bit of that too. There's one more bullet point on here you can't see, which just said that another surprising finding from our survey is that teachers were not getting as much pushback from parents and administrators as we might have predicted they were. So fewer than 10% of teachers in our 500 teacher survey said that parents or administrators were not supportive of using games in the classroom. So I think it's coming from parents and teachers who are seeing their kids at home probably learning so much from games and being very supportive of bringing that into their classroom environment. So we're going to show you one of the case studies that we made. This is a case study of Joel Levin, who's here in the front row, actually. Actually, 3 of 4 of the teachers of our case studies are here today in the room. And he uses Minecraft with his 2nd grade students.
A technology integrator and a computer teacher. My students are great. They're 7, 8 years old and just have this kind of wonderful energy to them. Every single kid is a gamer. There's really not too much else in these kids' lives that's such a baseline. It's a common experience that every single kid can relate to and I can tap into and get something out of from them. At home, computers, TV, whatever, it's purely entertainment. In my classroom is the very first time that these kids have ever come up against boundaries on a computer. I definitely do teach my kids how to play the game before we really do any sort of meaningful educational content with it. If I just bring the kids into the room and I say sit down and play, it's not going to have the desired results. Minecraft EDU, it's an alternate version of Minecraft designed by teachers for teachers to use in a school setting with students, and also gives the teachers ways to quickly and easily design activities. Minecraft by itself is an incredibly open-ended game. When I started thinking about what to do in the game to provide for the students, I had to add in the structure myself. In the beginning, I started structuring it more saying, we're explorers. We were shipwrecked in this strange land, and what are the first things we need to do to survive? And they started saying tools and shelter, and I said, perfect. Now we have a goal to work towards. Especially a game that kind of takes place in a completely immersive environment like Minecraft can illustrate a particular student's learning styles. You can see the self-directed learners are off and running. They're trying different combinations of things. They need to try everything themselves, whereas a kid that needs more hand-holding and scaffolding will often go only very slowly, one step at a time. They need the reassurance, they need the confirmation from me that they're on the right path. Remember when I said that I made it so you could destroy any block in the game? Yeah. I'm actually really impressed that I haven't seen anybody destroy any of the fences or the buildings or the beds. I really like that you're treating this world respectfully. There's some lines drawn between genders, but there's a lot of overlap as well. Usually if it's a boy that likes adventure games and fighting monsters, they'll figure out more and more effective ways to engage in combat in the game. Girls tend to more often be focused on the building aspects of the game. They build little houses, they decorate them just so. They'll invite each other over to the houses for play dates. It's very social. Teaching with games in the classroom has always been fun and always just feels like the right thing and the most productive things that I do with my time. It's been professionally and personally rewarding for me, as well as a benefit to my students. At least I hope.
We've also been presenting this material a little bit around, we were at GLS last week and a couple other conferences before that. And so we've gotten some feedback about what people think about our work, listening to teachers and summarizing some of the data from the survey and what the case studies are saying to them. So one thing that's come up a couple times or many times is that teachers really learn from other teachers. So that developing these kind of video-based case studies and showing how teachers are using games in the classroom has been really beneficial for a lot of educators to envision how they might adapt that for their own classroom environment. Over 200 teachers from around the world participated in a webinar we did with BrainPOP and EdWeb about this research. So we're really getting, a lot of people kind of keyed into trying to find out what teachers really think about games, what they want from games, and how they're using them. Thousands of people have watched the videos on YouTube. They're all available from the Cooney Center YouTube channel and the BrainPOP YouTube channel. So they're completely free and accessible. We have 4 of them up so far, and we're developing the 5th one next month. And also, and this is really important, I think, is that this survey that we did of teachers using games is actually the first national survey of teachers who identify as game-playing teachers. So we have some baseline metrics and some data that then we can re-survey and track over time.
Okay, so we really kind of want to open it up to a conversation here and get some feedback from you and hear where else we should be taking this research in the future. So we want to hear, since there's a lot of teachers in the room, what do you need to do this successfully in your classroom? Any? More computers, more technology?
Actually, yeah, so we asked teachers in our survey, what some of the barriers were, and the technology infrastructure is still an enormous barrier. The other thing that people often said in the survey, emphasis on standardized tests, barrier to using games in the classroom.
Oh, can he get a mic?
Yeah, can we have the mic go around? Is that okay? Thanks.
I particularly work with game development, mainly with college students that are LGBT or queer. And so it struck out to me just in the video, he was talking about boys do this and girls do that. And I always cringe whenever that happens because gender is constructed, technology is constructed. It's not like you're innately doing this, like they're co-producing, so I was just interested, because that's a huge thing for me when there continues to be language about toys for boys and games for girls. And I think that can be problematic for all of us, so I'm just interested in what your thoughts are on that.
Can we actually have the teacher answer? Yeah. He's sitting right here.
Yeah, it's funny. I've gotten a lot of responses from this video, and more than anything else, I hear flack about that statement. The full statement was, by and large, they are the same, they're interested in the same thing, I see the same level of engagement and creativity.
You know, but yes, I do see some differences in some gender roles, and here's what they are.
And that the game supports both at the same time.
Right. I mean, the fact that you can have the kids in the same learning environment, you know, pursuing what is interesting to them, and you know, have them each see the value of both contributions is great.
So can we get one more about powerful resource back here? Like, what would you like to see?
I'm a huge fan of Minecraft. I'm actually wearing a Minecraft shirt. And so I was curious. I know that Minecraft can teach you Boolean algebra and through Redstone and certain things, but for 2nd grade, I was curious what kind of things that they were learning through Minecraft. I know that it can have all those positive attributes on children, but I was curious what they were learning with those positive attributes.
Wow, great question.
You know, I'll just answer very briefly because Joel. Sorry. I'll just answer that very briefly, and I'll just sort of try to paraphrase something that I know Joel Levin, who just answered the last question, has said before, is that there's a lot of sort of digital citizenship modeling that can happen in a game like Minecraft, where you're working together in this one group, and he talks about it a little bit in the video of like, I'm really glad to see that you were very responsible about how you treated other people's things. That has extended into how the online communications happen between students. I've spoken with another teacher who's also here. She teaches using Minecraft at a school in New Jersey, and she's talked a lot about inter-grade relationships, how you know, kids in 5th grade are talking to kids in 8th grade and how they're managing that conversation both in and out of that game environment. So all of this happening earlier and earlier, I think, is modeling positive online communications that then we can build on as kids move on to social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter.
And I think there's also a lot of ways to integrate Minecraft into different subject areas, like social studies. I saw an example of that at Owen's school, who's also here in the audience with us. So I think there's like the teacher this morning said, it's kind of like a sandbox. There's just tons of ways that you can use it. It's very open-ended, and you kind of customize it to what you're doing in your class. Maybe, do you think we have time to show one more?
Yeah.
So we're going to show one more video. We would love to continue this conversation. Please grab Jessica or I after this. We're going to get one more video queued up.
We're out of time. Okay. Well, I just want to emphasize again that all the videos are on YouTube, and so if you search for the Joan Ganz Cooney Center or for BrainPOP, you'll be able to see our channels, our YouTube channels.
And if we could just acknowledge the teachers that were involved in this research study, since they're all here. Lisa Parisi, Steve Isaacs, Joel Levin.